I say it's a waterfront first. So what is special about the waterfront? What can only be on the waterfront? How do you use the waterfront? And then try and find ways to mix those things, harmonize those things, even make synergies between those things. All of that sort of was what made me want to make Portside. It was a way to tell the story, to influence the story, and to change the way New York City's waterfront was going to evolve. So I grew up in Brooklyn, in Carroll Gardens before it was called that, in the 60s. I'm 57. So I went off and I ended up becoming a photojournalist. So I traveled around the world an awful lot, coming back to New York City, sort of in and out, in and out. And then I had this epiphany. You know, I saw my city in a whole new way and realized it was an archipelago, it's an estuary, it's a port. I was speaking to one of the owners of Hughes Marine who said, do you know anyone, Carolina, who wants the Mary Whalen? But Mary Whalen? Mary Whalen, she might work. So I was speaking as the founder of Portside. The idea is to create a maritime center with people coming by land and sea, land and water, with a lot of programs, functions, and services inside a building and a landing for other boats. So just finding a spot for the Mary Whalen does not create the full-blown Portside that I've been trying to do since 2003. Any type of maritime activity is straining to grow in New York. New York City was once fluent in the maritime language, and it's just lost the language completely. And so, consequently, the waterways are not being used well. Now, there's definitely improvement in the fact the city's actually created a citywide ferry service from scratch in a short period of time. That's actually doing a lot to get New Yorkers out onto the waterfront. But it's still, I would say it's really a management problem. We're aboard the Mary A. Whalen on Pier 11, Atlantic Basin, Rev Up, Brooklyn. Mary Whalen is the last of her kind in the USA. She's a retired coastal oil tanker.
In 2006, there was an announcement in the Sheepshead Bay News that you could come and tour this retired tanker. And my wife screamed, "The Mary Whalen, we can go see her." And I sent an email to Carolina, and I said, my name's John Weaver, and I'm coming on Saturday, and I'm bringing the captain's daughter. My father-in-law was Alf Durland, and he was captain on this ship for 20 years, from 1958 to 1978. And that was during the time that she was in her heyday, going up and down the coast, out into the ocean.
She had a long heyday. She was built in 1938 and she worked until March 1994. So another thing that Red Hook people are not getting out of their waterfront because they're disconnected is work. Part of Portside's plans since the beginning is to provide a place that ends up being a pipeline to marine jobs. So part of that is directly through the programs that we offer, but it's also by bringing the public in contact with an active maritime location so they know it exists.
We have a program called Red Hook Water Stories where we get people to talk about their relationship to the water. And that one was specifically geared at Puerto Ricans because most of the early population in New York who were Puerto Rican came in right here in Atlantic Basin where the Mary Whalen is. And that story is beginning to be forgotten. Some people remember the ships that their family came in on, but they don't necessarily associate it with Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Hey guys, you want to see something? Yeah.
Here we are sitting, but we're moving, and we're never not moving. And just stepping on board this ship, we're not going on anywhere, we're not out in the ocean, but standing on this deck is a profound experience, and we have discovered that it changes people. They suddenly become amazingly aware of the world that they have not ever been part of before. and it's really quite extraordinary.
Hi.